What's poppin' YouTube? Double if you're back in once again, you guys another Apex Legends video, and today we have a very special video, which I didn't actually think we'd be making until tomorrow. But hey, you know what? A new video, can't complain. But today Apex actually released their dev stream, which is what they usually do before every update, and sort of just give us an idea of like where the game is headed and future updates coming, whether it be for an event or just in general in regards to the game. But what's special this is they actually released the patch notes. Let me switch this over real quick. They actually released the patch notes for the event tomorrow, which they usually do. But sometimes they're very selective about what information they actually release and announce. But today they actually released all of the changes coming tomorrow for the Legends. So we already know about everything else in regards to this, about the mobile respawn beacons, the crypto takeover, Mirage best heirloom in the game trophy. But yeah, that's we already know about all that stuff. What we're going to talk about is the Legend update, because these Legend updates are wild, and it's actually, I feel like this is one of the I don't think it's going to be the most drastic change to the game, but it's definitely going to be, at least in recent patches, this is going to be a super big meta change for a lot of characters. And I feel like it's going to change. I feel like it's going to help the game dramatically in terms of character viability, but it's also, I think it's going to also it's going to raise some characters and also lower some at the same time. So let's get into it without further ado. For the first Legend, we have Lifeline, who I would say, if I had to do a tier list, probably put her in like low A, high B. Like, she wasn't bad. It was just her kit felt a little weak in comparison to other characters. But they've given her a new passive, which is Combat Revive, which is now replaces Combat Medic. And basically what that means is what we saw in the trailer, where she deploys Doc to revive teammates. Doc will deploy a shield and revive Lifeline's teammate, leaving Lifeline free to defend or revive someone else. This fully replaces Lifeline's old passive, including Fast Heal. So I think that's one of the reasons Lifeline was kind of still in high B, low A, was because of Fast Heal, because she was the only character that just natively got it. But the developers, when at least in the dev sheet we're talking about, they want to move her to more of a combat medic role. They want her to focus on helping others rather than just focusing on herself, which I understand, because especially her being the only medic in the game, especially with having Gibraltar having fast res and Fast Heal also in his dome, it kind of felt like Gibraltar was more of a medic than Lifeline was, and they kind of wanted to transition away into having the medic role be Lifeline, which is actually really cool change. I'm really happy to see actually play this in game and actually see where this places Lifeline. And for her tactical, her cooldown is now 45 seconds, which was 60. This is basically her Doc drone, so basically you can heal a lot more. I believe it still retains the, I guess, nerfs that it received. So it's still gonna, from at least from what I can tell, it's still gonna, like, it's still gonna, where we throw it out, it's gonna stay. It's not gonna move around. If it's in the storm, it's gonna die after like 2 or 3 pumps. If you call it, like, do you call it a pump? I don't know if you call it a pump, but pump. I believe that's all the nerfs that it received, I believe, or nerf / changes. So I think that's the only thing they have for that. And for the ultimate, which is actually something really cool, they changed the care package to contain more items. So the care package will contain 3 more small healing items when it decides to spawn 3 small healing items, and care package will contain 2 more attachments when it decides to spawn attachments. They explain this a bit differently in the actual dev streams. Basically what this means is one section will always be either armor, I think armor, a knockdown shield, or a helmet. Purple also, do see that it's always going to be purple. Of those 3 items, one section is always going to be attachments, and then one section is always going to be healing. So that's just how it's going to be that way, because the thing with Lifeline's packages, a lot of times, because of how inconsistent the randomizer was, sometimes you just didn't want to drop it because you didn't want to necessarily give away your position only to get a knockdown shield. So now at least there's more consistency when it comes down to her ultimate, which is really cool. And now we have Octane, which all you guys know. Cam, who I play like 90% of my games with, his main is Octane, and he's been waiting for Octane changes because he loves the character. He's been playing the character since day one. So he's been waiting for Octane changes, and these Octane changes are actually really cool. Let's just get into it. It's tactical. Upon activation, Stim will remove movement and pairing effects. So what that means is, if he's in like enemy caustic gas, if he gets hit by a grenade, if he gets hit by, let's say, Bangalore's ult, anything like that, he can just stim and basically get his speed, or just speed him out of that little hurry on out of there. His tactical also gets changed from sprinting stim that is a tongue twister. Stim sprinting speed is increased from by 10%, increased by 10%. So before, I believe it was 5%, and then now it's 10%. So basically it's like it's doubling it. So basically he is essentially the fastest character in the game right now. Straight up. if you're trying to chase an Octane, you're probably not going to catch up to him. If you're running away from an Octane, he's going to catch your ass. So do keep that in mind. His ultimate, players can now double jump in mid-air after using Octane's launch pad, and players can change directions easily from the double jump. This is actually really cool to see, because it gives, especially with the 60-second cooldown, it just adds an extra layer of sort of like control, but also mobility for Octane. So a lot of times, especially, you wouldn't want to use an Octane pad in the middle of a fight because the trajectory is very predictable, because you get wherever direction you go sit, whatever direction you take the pad, that's the direction you go, straight up. So I think like this really cool change. It sort of like adds a bit of more control for the player who actually uses the jump pad, and it adds bit of more interaction with the actual jump pad in like mid fights, where things are going to be really cool to see. And I know my boy Camel will find ways to break it. I just know there'll be some, I'll find some clips and things. But next we have Revenant, who got a change a couple patches ago, which was a good change, but it still kind of didn't necessarily do a lot to sort of like push him. It made him a better character, but didn't necessarily bring him to the forefront of being who they want Revenant to be. So they made a couple changes to his tactical, which is tactical is basically his death ball. And basically now death ball will cancel with Pathfinder mid grapple, Wraith mid phase walk attempt, but before phase walk activates. Okay, so basically what that means is for Wraith is, I guess we haven't really got to that, but Wraith also got a change to her tactical, to where before it took 0.4 seconds for her to go into her phase walk. Now it takes, I think it's like 1.2 or something like that, to go into her phase walk. So basically, if you hit her in that animation, you stop her from activating. Basically, what that means. It will now prevent. Basically, this is basically if you're already hit by it, it'll prevent a cloaked revive from Mirage. Also prevent decoy control activation from Mirage, and then combat revive for Lifeline. And then its ultimate, which I'm super excited for, is the range has been removed on Death Totem, which is super dope. This is one of the things like that at least for me was holding Revenant back from being at least his ult at least being a threat, because you knew that, hey, if I just walk 100 meters away, I'm good. I'm good. There's nothing they can do. They can either come fight me, or they'll just be stuck with whatever health they're at. So this is going to be a major threat to teams now, because you can toss your totem. You can toss your totem legitimately anywhere. This is going to be actually really good for third party, because like let's say there's a fight at containment, right? You can ult on the let's say you ult on the jump tower. You can take the jump tower and jump into the fight at containment, kill everybody, and then if you die, you back out. And then usually third parties happen a lot of containment, so you can just go in and do what you ever got to do, and then get out, and then sort of like third party to the third party. You feel me? That's some big brain stuff right there. Well, that's really cool. So I'm super excited to play Revenant. Next we have Crypto. His tactical, which is his crypto drone. Deploying hack now takes 1.5 seconds from 2.5 seconds, which is good, because it took a long time. it took a long time. And his ultimate EMP will now destroy Wattson's pylons, which is, I think, something that it should have always done. I don't know why it didn't destroy Wattson's pylons, at least initially, or like 6 updates ago. But hey, we have it now, so that's good. It's gonna be really, I think that's gonna help with crypto in competitive, especially when we get down to the Wattson changes as well. Which I'm not gonna spoil those, but we get those Wattson. I feel like that's gonna really propel crypto to maybe possibly being on a couple teams in competitive. Loba, they didn't mention Loba in the devlog, so let's see. Loba, her tactical Burglar's best friend, will no longer be intercepted by Wattson's pylon. Okay, so basically, I guess before, if Watson's ult was up, you tried to, I guess, basically use Loba's teleport ability out. I guess would break it, but now it doesn't. That's cool. Let's see, ultimate. Black Market Boutique, her ultimate, will now only pick up 1 stack of ammo rather than one stack plus the amount that was required to fill whatever partial stack you had in your inventory. Is that a buff or a nerf? Let me read that again. You can say, will now only pick up 1 stack of ammo rather than 1 stack of ammo plus the amount required to fill whatever partial stack you had in your inventory. Okay, so now you just get 1 stack regardless. Okay, cool. That's kind of a nerf, but it doesn't really matter. You know, if you're getting ammo from the Black Market Boutique, you really didn't need anything else. I guess that's fine. Ultimate clearance now give 20% ult charge up from 70.5. Is that just for her, or is that just for everybody in general? I'm just gonna assume that's. I'm just gonna assume that's for her. We'll see. We'll see. Now we got Mirage. His tactical. You can now hold the tactical button and release to auto control decoys. Decoys will now say lines when shot. Oh, that's cool. It's actually really cool. So basically, if you hold Q as you're tossing out your decoy, it'll just auto control. So that's helpful. Instead of like hitting Q and then like hitting H in order to control. That's actually really cool. His passive, when cloaked, Mirage's solo emitters will be visible to players that are less than 5 meters away. Hollow emitters. Basically, if I'm invisible, it's easier for my people or for my teammates to know where I am. Skydive will now creates decoys for the entire squad when skydiving, when still diving with your squad. This is, I don't know how I feel about this as Mirage main. I feel like this is only good at the beginning of the game, if that. Because you can basically just send out a decoy and say like, oh, my team's going over here, we're actually going over here. But besides that, there's not really many times when you're in the game and you're diving without your team, or you're diving with your team, so to speak. So this seems like an unnecessary change. If I would do it, I would say like, if this was anytime I was in the air, I can just basically send my squad out somewhere. That'd be really dope. I'd actually love to see that. Maybe in the future. I think maybe it's like a test change or so. Next you have Gibraltar. Bro, everyone's getting it on this update. Gibraltar, fast heal granted inside the dome shield, slow down from 25% to 15% faster. That actually goes in line with making Lifeline more viable, so I'm cool with that. Caustic, enemies can cancel Caustic's barrel by shooting it before it is fully inflated. Thank you. This is one of the most annoying things about Caustic, is like you see him, you see the Caustic is like pew, and he tosses it out, and you just gotta like stare at it while it just inflates, and they go pew once it does. Like it was really annoying. So I'm really happy about that change. Next we have Wattson. Let's see. The intent of these changes is to create openings where enemies can breach Wattson's positions. It is still possible for Wattson players to hold position with a trophy indefinitely, but that should come at the cost of using ultimate accelerants. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why she has why she had the only ult that just lasted legitimately forever. But now it's really cool. So now Wattson's pylons now last for 30 seconds. Wattson can have up to 3 pylons out at a time, and then Wattson can stack 2 ultimate accelerants per inventory slot. So this is actually really strong changes for Wattson, especially in competitive. Because being able to not only stack 2 ultimates but have 3 pylons out at a time it's going to be so much more pressure for pushing into buildings, because essentially depending on the building you're in, if you're pushing a team that has a Wattson, they can essentially have armor healing their entire fight, you know, instead of like going in and out between armor, like having armor healing and not having armor healing. So this is actually really cool. This could be a really interesting change, this competitively, especially with the crypto changes that they had as well. It's really cool to see where that goes. So Wraith. Increasing Wraith tactical cooldown has proven to be ineffective at curbing her exceeding high win rate and kill rate. Please, all you have to do is make that bitch like 20% larger. Like something, just make her make her just so much larger. These changes are meant to disincentivize Wraith players from using Phase Walk as a get out of jail free card and move into more of repositioning and scouting ability. Not true. There's also that. Phase Walk now takes 1.5 seconds to enable, was 0.4 seconds. During this time, Wraith will receive a 20% move slow. This does not affect Phase Walk while placing a phase portal. Okay. While in Phase Walk, Wraith now gets a 30% movement speed boost. While in Phase Walk, for Wraith can now see other players while in the void. Phase Walk now lasts 4 seconds from 3 seconds, and Phase Walk cooldown is now down to 25 seconds from 35 seconds. This is actually gonna be I don't know how I feel. I don't know if this is enough to necessarily nerf Wraith. I mean, it will. I mean, this is definitely nerf Wraith, but I don't think it'll necessarily be a super bad thing, because Wraith player, like, the problem with Wraith, and like whenever you talk to like a professional, like anyone, like why they ask why they play Wraith, 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, they're gonna mention her small hitbox. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna mention a small hitbox before they mention Phase Walk, before they mention phase tunnel, anything like that. They're gonna mention the hitbox. Like, it's legitimately the hitbox. Like, there's so many times where Wraith, or at least for me, where I would win a fight strictly because they just can't hit me. Like, they just legitimately just can't hit me. So I feel like the problem with Wraith comes from her hitbox, not necessarily her kit. So this definitely will help with giving players more times to kill Wraith before she phases out. But I feel like until we get a nerf, or I guess a buff, a nerf, I don't know, until we make that bitch overweight, this is going to be a problem with Wraith. So we'll see. And then also for the last the legend changes, phase tunnel has been decreased the portal placement by 25%, which is helpful, because usually the distance that it covered was wild in some cases, in terms of like escaping a fight. You can kind of just big dip out that bitch. So now it gives an opportunity for if a Wraith uses their portal, you can sort of catch up to her, things like that, which is actually really, really cool. So this patch has a lot of changes. I was watching the dev stream, and they mentioned a lot of things, but I didn't realize they did this much things. Poof. Okay, weapon / loot zip lines. A cooldown will be applied to re-grappling zip lines without touching the ground. Wait, a cooldown? Oh snap! Wait, the cooldown will increase with each time a player disconnects and re-grabs a zip line. The cooldown reset when the player touches the ground. Oh no. Oh no, bro, this is gonna, oh no. So basically what this is talking about is basically zipline spamming. So when you would be on a zipline, and let's say this is a zipline, right? Let's just say it's going from this end to this end. If you spam the connect button, you can sort of hop on the zipline, which makes it a lot harder for you to actually get hit on the zipline. And basically what this is saying is that basically you can still do that, but there's gonna be a cooldown. Doesn't say what the cooldown is, so I guess we'd have to test it. There'd be a cooldown between each and every time you re-grab the zipline without touching the ground. So basically what the saying is, if you take it, it's making ziplines more of a risk, which I guess is, I don't know if it's necessarily a good change. I don't know. I feel like that's something you have to play. That's something you have to play in order to really see what happens with it. The Havoc, thank God they're actually having the nerf from the Havoc. Jesus Christ, that gun. Greatly increased horizontal recoil in the initial shots of a burst. Basically what this means is I think they did the first two shots. First two shots have increased randomization. So basically those are just going, this is going everywhere. So basically it takes longer for the gun to actually reset and shoot straight, which is good, because I have it right now. It's just dumb busted. Then decrease magazine size from 32 to 28. Thank God. because that thing just had way too many bullets in it, especially like off drop. That thing had way too many bullets. Sentinel rechamber time is from 1.75 to 1.6, and energized duration from 90 to 120, which is a healthy change. It makes the Sentinel at least a better. It's still not the best sniper, but it's definitely needed in order to push it to be a more viable sniper. And then quality of life changes. Teammates can now ping a friendly across the trap. New health bar for when users are in shadow form. Oh, that's cool. Okay, we got a shadow form health bar. Oh, shadow form health bar. There we go. And the map rotation times are now even between King's Canyon and World Edge. Cool. That was also helpful because there's some times where I was playing on like King's Canyon and then I go to World's Edge and I feel like I play like 2 games and I'm back on King's Canyon again. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this felt like way too long. And there we go. Bug fixes. I don't think there's anything. Oh my god, they finally fixed it. Fixed an issue with some railings not being climbable. Oh my god, this has been in the game since day one of season 5. This has been an issue where certain, I don't know why, but like certain railings, it's just random which one it was. You just couldn't climb. Like you climb up to the top and you just slide back down. So it was really, really annoying. And a lot of times I've died because of that. Which is really, really, really annoying. But you got it. Fix the issue with the treasure pack message I prank at each match. Okay, cool. I think that's everything. They're really applicable. Cool. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, cool. I think that's everything. So yes, that is all the updates for characters coming in the Lots Treasures event happening tomorrow. Which I'm super excited about. So I'm probably excuse me, am I gonna stream it tomorrow? I don't know. It depends. I mean, I am going out tomorrow. I have to go. Maybe I'll go in the morning. Okay, maybe if I go, I'm gonna go out probably. Cause I have to get my car inspected tomorrow. So depending on how that goes, depends on if I just stream or if I just record. Either way, there'll be a video covering everything tomorrow, best I can. And of course, you already know, this is the first thing I'm doing right here. This is the first thing. Is getting my heirloom, this beautiful, 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 beautiful boy, as soon and fast as I can. But that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this update video for the patch notes coming in the Lost Treasures event. If you guys did, make sure to like button, subscribe, and just comment what you guys think. What you guys think of the content, the things going on here in the channel. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know down below in the description section. Also hit me up on my socials, also linked down below. And I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. EST. Link down below is in the description. But without further ado, see you guys in the next one. Peace, Auf Wiedersehen, deuces, and goodbye.